Rise and shine.
Bat an eyelash.
Good morning.
There are no hands on the clock
Why?
because they're not needed.
What time is it?
Fuck. You know, I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the passwords.
The Cinematic DNA of One Battle After Another by Film Verite. Welcome to the Cinematic DNA, where we trace how films evolve from their influences and how a director's creative lineage shapes the stories we see. Today, we're decoding Paul Thomas Anderson's latest cinematic enigma, One Battle After Another. It all comes down to a password. A question, really.
What time is it?
Fuck. You know, I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the passwords.
It's the phrase Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Bob Ferguson, needs to remember to save his daughter. And he can't.
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home, and I cannot remember, for the life of my only child, the answer to your question.
Maybe you should have studied the rebellion text a little harder.
I need to find my daughter.
Well, then call us back when you have the time.
Did you just?
His mind, as one critic put it, is cooked by all the substances he's spent the past decade ingesting. In this absurdly tragic instant, a once-feared revolutionary forgets the code that could redeem him. But this isn't just irony. It's the film's thesis, distilled into one failing synapse. What if the fire never goes out, only changes hands? What if revolution isn't something you win, but something you keep alive? Because in One Battle After Another, the fight doesn't end. It mutates, it decays, it reawakens. The password isn't about time, a reminder that the struggle renews itself in every generation, one forgotten code at a time. To understand that, we have to decode the film's DNA. So, why does One Battle After Another feel like it shouldn't work?
Not one thing, it's another.
On paper, it's chaos, a political thriller crossed with a stoner comedy, wrapped around a family drama, shot like a 1950s Western. And yet, it does work. Anderson fuses contradictions into coherence, a blockbuster that thinks like an art film. So how did he do it?
God damn it! Viva la revolution!
Part 1. The Literary Foundation. Before the 5 films that shaped One Battle After Another, there's a book, Vineland, by Thomas Pynchon. This is Anderson's second Pynchon project. Inherent Vice explored the hangover of 1960s idealism. One Battle After Another doesn't adapt Vineland, it updates it. In Pynchon's novel, burned-out radicals drift through the Reagan era, haunted by surveillance and lost ideals. Anderson takes these archetypes and drags them into the 21st century. The prologue unfolds in Obama's first term, the main story 16 years later. The ideology shifts, too, from anti-war fugitives to activists freeing migrants from detention centers. Zoid becomes Bob Ghetto Pat Ferguson, the ex-demolitionist. Prairie becomes Willa. Frenzy becomes Perfidia Beverly Hills. Brock Vaughn becomes Colonel Lockjaw. The names echo Pynchon, but the story barrels forward in the present day, using 1960s counterculture as a ghostly influence rather than its foundation. What we're watching isn't a faithful adaptation. It's a mutation. Pynchon provides the genetic code, Anderson evolves it for a new era. And that's key to the film's thesis. Rebellion is cyclical. Each generation fights the same battles under new flags. Part 2. The Blueprint. Anderson didn't start from scratch. He started with 5 films: The Searchers, The Battle of Algiers, The French Connection, Midnight Run, Running on Empty. These aren't just influences, they're structural anchors. Each one gives the film a piece of its identity. From The Searchers, we get the myth, a flawed man on an obsessive quest to rescue someone he's lost. Anderson shoots in VistaVision, the same horizontal film format John Ford used to make Monument Valley mythic, turning California's deserts into operatic landscapes. John Wayne's Ethan Edwards is a racist Confederate veteran whose rescue mission is poisoned by hatred. Bob mirrors this, but Anderson updates the enemy from racial caricature to ideological threat, white supremacist militias. But here's what's crucial. The format does both epic and intimate. Anderson himself notes it can get you inside the actors' faces and throw you into an action sequence. Wide vistas, then tight close-ups, all with the same clarity. The framing elevates a road movie into something timeless.
Leave them carry off their hurt and dead.
Well, Reverend, that tears it. No, and you stay out of this. All of you. I don't want you with me.
From the Battle of Algiers, we get the urgency. Pontecorvo's 1966 masterpiece was so convincing it required a disclaimer. No newsreel footage was used. Anderson borrows the handheld aesthetic wholesale. Raw, chaotic action, treating revolutionaries as people running a messy operation. But here's the key. The Battle of Algiers appears on a TV in the film. Bob, the ex-revolutionary, is literally watching his ideological playbook.
Nous sommes arrivés à la moyenne de 4,2 attentats par jour. Oui, il faut distinguer les attaques individuelles. Nous disons qu'il y a une minorité qui s'impose par la terreur et la violence. Nous devons agir sur cette minorité dans le but de l'isoler et de la détruire.
From The French Connection, we get the texture. Friedkin called his approach induced documentary, shooting on location with handheld cameras, keeping operators in the dark about actors' movements to capture unpredictability. The result, gorgeously grimy images of New York's underbelly. As Roger Ebert noted, the whole movie is a chase. That relentless forward momentum defines Anderson's film too. Gene Hackman's Popeye Doyle is an obsessive cop who blurs the line between lawman and criminal. Bob channels that single-minded pursuit, and Anderson delivers two of the best car chases in years, inspired directly by Friedkin's legendary train overpass sequence. From Midnight Run, we get permission. Permission to mix tones, to be funny and serious in the same breath.
Your mother ever teach you how to talk nice to people and not shoot at them?
Martin Brest's 1988 film seamlessly weaves action thriller, odd couple comedy, and road movie into a beloved whole. Bounty hunter Jack Walsh transports accountant the Duke from New York to Los Angeles. They start as antagonists. Through their shared crucible, the relationship transforms into friendship and sacrifice. This is the film's structural key. It's what allows Anderson to create an epic screwball adventure that's also a tender family drama.
It's not cards. You don't roll cards. It's dice.
Dad, what is wrong with you?
The father-daughter bond in One Battle After Another, described as a swirl of protectiveness, exasperation, and fiercely unconditional love.
Say it. Say it, baby.
Love you, Bob.
Love you too.
Follows the Walsh-Duke template exactly. And here's why this matters. Jack Walsh is changed by his relationship with the Duke. The comedy forces him to lower his defenses, confront his past. The film ends with human connection, emotional growth. Anderson applies this same redemptive logic to Bob. The screwball elements aren't comic relief. They're the catalyst for transformation. From running on empty, we get the heart. Sidney Lumet's 1988 drama about fugitive parents whose radical past endangers their son's future. The parallel is direct. Bob's revolutionary history threatens Willa. But Anderson externalizes the threat, turning Lumet's quiet family dilemma into visceral action, and offers a different ending. Not escape, but inheritance. Willa reclaims the fight on her own terms. What Anderson's doing here is character synthesis. Bob is Ethan Edwards crossed with Popeye Doyle, grounded by Lumet's emotional stakes, redeemed through Midnight Run's tonal alchemy. And Vineland is what prevents these 5 films from flying apart. Pynchon's meditation on cyclical rebellion allows these distinct traditions to cohere.
Part 3. Controlled chaos. Now here's where Anderson starts to engineer disorder. In his scripts, there's a recurring note: chaos TBD. Instead of pre-choreographing every beat, Anderson leaves space for improvisation, accident, discovery. Actors arrive with ideas. Benicio del Toro invents an entire underground network for migrants. Chase Infinity imagines a secret phone, which becomes a pivotal prop. It's not chaos, it's collaboration by design. The same logic applies to Johnny Greenwood's score. Greenwood connects shoddy homemade software to a real piano and drum kit, creating a fractured rhythm, half mechanical, half human. It doesn't resolve tension, it amplifies it. But perhaps the most vivid illustration of Anderson's DNA emerges in that desert car chase, a sequence Spielberg zeroed in on when he visited Anderson. He asked how Anderson shot a stretch of highway between Borrego Springs and the Arizona border, a road rolling in constant rises and dips, where you drive blind. You never quite see what's ahead until you crest the top. Anderson responded that during location scouting, he filmed static and zoomed, deliberately erasing the horizon line. In Jaws, withholding or flattening the horizon heightens suspense because the audience unconsciously craves a stable visual reference. By removing it, Anderson inherits that instinctive unease, the sense of danger emerging from what you can't see. And yet, Spielberg also pointed out something deeper: a tonal kinship between Anderson's absurdist despair and Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove.
Attack! Russia.
He called One Battle After Another absurdist comedy taken very seriously. Both films provoke laughter as a defense mechanism, the only way to survive their depiction of collective madness. In Strangelove, nuclear apocalypse becomes punchline. In One Battle After Another, revolution's collapse becomes tragic farce. You laugh because if you don't, you'll start screaming. The relief is temporary. Anderson gives you a joke, then snatches it away. That tonal oscillation, part absurdist release, part existential dread, connects him to both Spielberg's visual mastery and Kubrick's emotional control. That duality, tension through horizon, tone through paradox, defines Anderson's authorship. It's controlled chaos with moral stakes.
Love the bomb. A moving picture.
Part 4. The Anti-Hero. At the center of it all, Bob Ferguson, a man who has lost control completely. He's no action hero. He's a burnout. A stoner revolutionary who can't remember a password, still clinging to VHS tapes of a revolution long dead. DiCaprio plays him like the dude, a man stumbling forward despite constant failure. Anderson turns that failure into a thesis.
But sometimes there's a man. Sometimes there's a man. Wow.
The climax isn't about Bob saving his daughter. It's about realizing he can't. The revolution and the future no longer belong to him. In the final act, Willa takes the keys and drives toward a protest. Tom Petty's American Girl kicks in.
She was an American girl.
The song reframes itself, no longer nostalgic Americana, but a generational anthem. Willa becomes the new face of American rebellion, not her father's echo, but her own cause. Part 5. The Legacy. In the end, one battle after another isn't about victory. It's about endurance. The idea that there's always another fight, another generation picking up the banner. Willa's story reframes the revolution as a relay, not a conquest. Anderson takes a Pynchon novel about cyclical rebellion, grafts it onto 5 incompatible films, and engineers chaos until it sings. The result is a story about inheritance, cinematic and human, about how every generation remixes the past to build its own kind of hope. Because in the end, it's not just what we see, it's how the film makes us see it.